Hello everybody, my name's James Atkinson. I work for a company called Causeway Technologies, and I have 8 minutes to talk to you. Is it the green one? That's it. Okay. About productivity gains through digitisation. This is a little bit like Dragon's Den. I've got 8 minutes to convince you that can be done. So rather than talk about Causeway and what we do, I thought it would be useful actually to have a little look at the industry that many of us in this room work within. And that industry, the built environment, the construction sector, whether we're building or maintaining transportation infrastructure, it's significant. So statistically speaking, it contributes $10 trillion to the world's GDP, that's 13%, and it employs 7% of the global world's workforce. So we create and operate structures that we live in, we work in, that produce our energy and that we travel on. So this industry that we're all in is significant, it is important, and it really, really matters. Not only statistically, but if you look at what the product is that we produce, it's iconic, right? So the sort of things that we're producing here are impressive, to say the least. But that said, the industry that we're working in, that iconic industry, that one that contributes so much, has some issues, it has some challenges, and that's where I think the digitisation angle can come in. So if you look at the construction sector and you look at productivity, we've only managed to achieve a 1% increase in annual productivity growth in 20 years. So if you can't see that from where you are, the construction blob is the one right down in the bottom left-hand corner there, just languishing behind fishing and hunting. So that's where we are in respect of increasing productivity. That's a problem, right? But that problem brings with it opportunity. So where there's problems, there's opportunities. And the opportunity, the size of the prize, is 1.6 trillion of additional value could have been created through addressing that productivity gap. And to put that in context, that's the GDP of Canada, 1.6 trillion. So the GDP of a country in sorting this problem out here is the opportunity through addressing this productivity issue. If you get a bit more granular and look at a few more problems, in terms of projects, according to KPMG, who do an annual survey of construction projects, 69% of projects in the period of 2012 to 2015 exceeded budget, went over cost, and 60% went over in terms of time. So that doesn't just affect the people who are doing the work, that knocks on to the client, creates tension, creates adversarial issues. Profit margins are slim. How often do you hear that in this industry? If you look at the top 100 UK contractors, the average profit margin is only 1.5%. So where profits are tight, risks are high, that risk gets passed all through that supply chain. Big issues that come out as a result of that. And then you look at the skills gap. Trying to attract young people into this sector is a big issue. 67, according to YouGov, this is 67% of young people between the ages of 18 and 24 would never consider working in this sector. When you consider what's going on in the industry and the need to attract young talent into this sector, that is a bit of a challenge. So that's the backdrop, that's the industry. It's an impressive industry, it contributes so much, but it's fraught with a few challenges. So what else is going on in the world? Well, continuing the theme of what a number of our speakers have talked about already, we've got something called the digital revolution that's happening. And lots of buzzwords going on, cloud computing, big data. We've heard a lot about autonomous vehicles today, artificial intelligence, blockchain. We haven't talked about that today. We've talked about drones. So there's lots of technology that's getting thrown at us out there. These things are happening. How are we going to use it? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to integrate that into the workplace? So do you know what? This is significant, what's happening here. It's been called the fourth industrial revolution. So the first one was all about mechanisation through steam power. The next one was then mass production through assembly lines and electricity. The next one was computer automation. And the fourth one, that's what's happening to us here now, is cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, connecting everything, putting digitisation into the workplace. So that's the scale of what's going on here. It's not about doing the things that we've always done just a little bit better, actually. No, it's a complete step change. And as you've gone through those step changes, the impact, not just on what we do, but the jobs that people do and the type of people that we need to be thinking about that we have in our organisations, it will be huge. So through those events in history that we just talked about there, coal miners, right? So no surprise there, 29,000 down to 1,800. Rail signal operatives, they fell down from 13,800 to 3,600. However, people who are doing software engineers, right? So that grew from 34,000 to 171. And management consultants and business consultants, 18,000 to 81,000, right? So it's a change, it's a shift. The type of people that we need to be thinking about we're getting in our business, the roles that we're going to be having in our business, they will change. So that's a backdrop, that's all going on. And I think a lot of us recognise it. I don't think I'm sort of preaching to you guys and going, oh, I've heard that for the first time, that's all news to me. So 93% of us think technology and innovation will significantly change our business, yet only 52% of organisations have a plan, right? Have a roadmap, have really looked at all of those things, all of those buzzwords that we're getting hit with day in, day out and gone, do you know what, I know how I'm going to take all of those things and put them in my business so it makes a difference. And it helps me do what I do better. It makes me more competitive, helps me win more work, helps me deliver on time. So this is the bit that I introduced Causeway. So who are Causeway? So we're an IT company. We provide software solutions, but I don't like to think of us as that. IT is our product, but passion is all about understanding this sector, understanding the industry, and helping you do what you do better. So that's about being a partner to organisations like yourselves to make sense of the environment that's going on out there, understanding you and looking at how we can deploy that within your business. And really focusing on how you do that out in the front line, because it's out in there doing the work. That's where profit is being won and lost. That's where projects are getting delivered on time or not. So focusing on what's going on out there. So some examples of people that we work with to do this. We've got Kia in the room today, some of our friends at Kia. So some real life examples of people putting digital technology into their business to change the way that people are working. So mobile technology is a great example of that. Taking out paper forms and paper processes, eradicating the costs associated with that, putting it into an auditable platform and being more efficient as a result of doing it. Same thing with our friends at Eurovia, putting a mobile platform out across their organisation. Huge amount of time saving going on in there. So it's not just the front office, in the back office here, dealing with bits of paper. When you buy things, you send out a purchase order and then somebody sends you an invoice on a bit of paper and rekey it between two systems. You shouldn't be doing that nowadays. So Barrett Development's there, saving 60% of the time and cost associated just through doing that in a digital way. Gap Group, so it's not just about, I suppose, processing cost savings, it brings with it opportunity, right? So it makes you more attractive to work with. So Gap Group here, increasing the amount of business they do with one of their big clients there from 1 million to 5 million because they're easy to do business with, right? And that's what's giving people that competitive edge. The people that embrace this nowadays become easy to do business with. And lastly here, why do people work with Causeway? Well, we like to think that we understand the sector that you guys work within and we understand the challenge. So therefore, the marrying of those two things, hopefully, we can work with you guys to deliver a difference.